All right, so we finally got the revisions for chapter 99 and 100. That's what Murata has been doing for the past couple weeks. Like, that's why we haven't got a new chapter because, like, the volume 22 is probably going to be coming out sometime next month, I assume. So these chapters are going to be in it. And as we saw a couple weeks ago, chapter 103, with my mask, that was revised as well. And that's because like I said, the volumes are coming out, and now they're just changing these chapters because they wanted to just change the story up a little. But it's also going to involve a lot of patchwork to fix the continuity, which is what they're doing now. And I understand what one is doing here, and I'm on board with it. It's fine. I'm not against it, but I'm not like completely for it. Like, I'm not like, yeah, this is like such a great necessary change. I'm just seeing where it goes for now because it's strange and at the same time interesting. Like, what's going on here with these changes? Because this is like completely different from the fight that we saw between them in the original chapter 99. Let me also mention that this is the third time that this chapter has been changed. In case you're like a newer fan, like 2 years ago when we first got this matchup, it kind of got to like a point where I don't know, the match was kind of like lagging or something, and then Murata just midway through the publications of it just changed up the chapters. Changed up the fight. He revised it again, and then we got the fight that we've seen for up until now. The more straightforward, typical battle manga type fight. Essentially, the same beats are happening in this chapter as well. Like he activates Hawk mode, Falcon mode, and he gets to show off the powers that they have. But going back to continuity patchwork, that means that this is going to be happening like a lot for like maybe the next year. So we only get volumes like 3 or 4 times a year, typically somewhere around there. So this is going to happen like about that many times within the next 12 months possibly, because I guess there's a lot of fixes that need to happen because of these major changes that are happening. So just expect anything at this point, like complete 180s in characters like what we're seeing here with Phoenix Man. Also, let me point out that I won't talk about chapter 100 in this review, just in case nobody has seen it yet. By the time that they watch this review, I'll just have that review out tomorrow because I assume that's the time that it'll be translated anyway. I think one saw Phoenix Man and he saw like so much potential just wasted because he was a broken character. Like you can see that he's exploring things with Phoenix Man here. He's using him as a device to just get a little fun with powers and stuff here. Because like we don't typically see these like crazy kind of like supernatural abilities that Phoenix Man has within the series. Like this whole thing where he can take Child Emperor to like Genjutsu land. That is like not typical stuff. And the whole thing with him using the King Awakening Light or whatever the translation for it is, the whole Edo Tensei resurrection thing, like obviously no one else is doing that besides him. And also all of the mode changes and stuff, and how the suit has a universe within it and how it talks to him, and he has all of these crazy abilities and the resurrection abilities. Like Phoenix Man is clearly one of the most broken characters in the series and has like some of the most variety of abilities we've ever seen. Is Phoenix Man kind of having like a redemption here? Because obviously he wasn't like this in the original version. He was just complete, crazy sociopath, unredeemable. He only wanted, death, destruction. He wanted to be the strongest. But here it's like he just wants a friend, and he wants Child Emperor to be his friend. Now, typically this would be weird. With Child Emperor, he's, the most mature S-Class here. But of course, he has his own immaturities to him that lie on the surface more so than internally. But anyway, Phoenix Man, I just don't know what's going on with him here. And like I said, there's a lot more that we're going to need to talk about with the development here in the next chapter review. But for this one, let me just also point out that I like that Child Emperor said that he was saving Brave Giant for Orochi. I thought that was a nice little touch. But also, we got to get to the G word here because it is dropped in this chapter. One of the very few times Disaster Level God is ever mentioned or said in the series. Believe it or not, because we always talk about it in the community, but within the show, they hardly say this. That's how, like, under wraps and how special this title is to one. Like, he himself doesn't even say it. Like, going back to, like, when he was asked about Boris' disaster level, he's like, well, I'm not going to say the G word, but at the same time, I'm not going to say it's not the G word. But anyway, so he's like, and also Phoenix Man, even though human-made power scaling is not great, shots fired, of course. I mean, he's not. I doubt this is one like having a meta narrative here against like I don't know YouTubers or I don't know people on forums or whatever. I don't think that's what it is. Although we can see it that way, of course, because we're reading it from our echo chamber. But I think he's just obviously talking about the Hero Association here and how disaster levels are inaccurate a lot of the times, and that goes back to the bonus chapter disaster level where they basically make that super apparent to the reader. That's why they're called estimated. I wouldn't, and then he's like, it wouldn't be a dream to accomplish disaster level God. So that's ominous, right? Like I said, dropping the G word here. So does that mean that we're going to see a disaster level God Phoenix Man? Because that also goes back to the community, making me wonder if one is like looking at community stuff. Now, not the English or the Western side of the community. He's probably looking at Japanese boards or whatever, but that was the thing that we were talking about Phoenix Man. It's like, hey, if he kept resurrecting, would he have became disaster level God? Because he became disaster level dragon after one resurrection from a demon. So, like, what if he kept going? Is he going to become God? And now it's like, okay, Phoenix Man himself is wondering that. So it's interesting. And another thing, when he's talking to Child Emperor about joining the monster costume club, he mentions Watchdog Man. That's pretty interesting, right? I think Watchdog Man has always been suspicious, and I think we're gonna, we're gonna have to take a closer look at Watchdog Man, maybe in like a follow-up video or something. There's things that need to be discussed about this guy that maybe we haven't talked about too much. But anyway, then it goes into the whole giant fish strike sequence. Like I said, it still reaches on. I mean, it still touches on all of the same beats as before. Like he goes to the Prominence Hawk mode, and he exhibits that this is like a booster to his physical strength, and not only that, but now he becomes like Darkshine pretty much. Like he just straight up looks like he's like a symbiote or something, and then he covered Darkshine, or like how Majin Buu absorbs Gohan and Gotenks, and that like it looks like he did that to Darkshine, because he definitely wasn't like this before. He was more of a slender, super muscular thing, but now he's just full blown Mr. Olympia Darkshine style, which is fine. But it still exhibits like the same thing. And then the Phoenix mode is speed as before. And then the alterations that they made with this is that his Phoenix flare or their homing feathers or whatever, they were coming out of his wings before, but now it's just two giant ones coming out of his hands. So that's interesting how they changed it. And then it ultimately comes down to him getting caught in the web or the net or whatever, the irritating shield that he set up while he was going around in that jump rope Pac-Man thing, which was awesomely illustrated by one. That double spread is incredible as usual, but before we saw that it was like the little Braves, like those little mini robots that no longer exist. They set up the net before, but now it was Brave Giant doing it. He was multitasking while he was chasing him around. It's fine, it makes sense. He caught him, and then the giant fish strike. And then this whole panel, them plunging through the Monster Association, that stayed the same. And I don't blame Murata for not wanting to redo this, because it was already great. He didn't really need to change it up, so he just he's making the use of what he had left over. And then we're coming to the end of the chapter with like this I don't know, shonen touchy moment where like while he's getting punched, Phoenix Man was like, earlier it was just a moment. Did you feel confused? I have no intention to join the enemy, even though. And it's like, all right, what's going on with him? Like, is he gonna be a good guy in the future or something? Or like, what is the purpose of this? Because I don't think it's like he's just gonna join the cast just because he's such a cool guy. I mean, I think he needs to serve a greater purpose here. I'm assuming right now, and I'm not spoiling anything. Trust me, I'm not spoiling anything when I say this, but I think that his powers might be used for something in like the big battle in the future, like with Tatsumaki and all of them. Like, I don't know, maybe he resurrects somebody or something, or maybe he helps them fight against Orochi or fight against someone, or maybe he helps them fight against the cadres or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's pretty much it for the review today, guys. Let me know what you think about the revisions in the comments. Did you like them? Do you not like them? Let me know. But if you like the review, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.